Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Janowitz with Synergy Oviedo Chiropractic, and today we're going to talk about scoliosis and how chiropractic can positively impact scoliosis.
Sometimes a person's spine curves and rotates, making it look like an S or a C. This is called scoliosis.
Now, scoliosis is near and dear to me because I have scoliosis, and that's how I got involved in chiropractic. I had the privilege and honor of meeting my chiropractor in childhood, and my chiropractor literally helped me to prevent to have surgery and rods in my back. And so I've dedicated my life to help people with scoliosis and other health-related issues related to the spine. So what is scoliosis? Normally the spine should be nice and straight from front to back. And from the side you should have curves. You should have a forward curve in your neck, a backwards curve in your mid-back, and then a forward curve in your low back. When you have this, the spine is able to handle the forces of gravity and act as a shock absorber. Now, from front to back, again, it should be straight. So scoliosis is an abnormal shifting of the spine from the front to back view. But oftentimes that shifting is associated with also twisting and rotating. Now this is damaging and harmful to the body because it can affect the joints and ligaments in your spine, but even more importantly, it can damage the nerves, which affect not only the muscles in your back, but they also affect the muscles down your arms or your legs or your head, but also every single internal organ as well. So the damaging effects of scoliosis can be very significant as well. What it also does is it can cause an abnormal appearance to your posture, which oftentimes causes people to be more conscientious of their posture and a little bit more shy and can affect confidence levels. So scoliosis is really important to detect, and a lot of times it's detected through a high school or a middle school screening where they'll have you bend down and touch your toes and look for a humping.
An inclinometer can be used to quantitate the torso asymmetry in the chest region at the horizon as the patient bends forward.
Now, only certain scolioses will show up that way, so it's really important that you have a trained chiropractor in your healthcare team to really properly assess this, and it's much better to get scoliosis checked at an earlier age than a much more significant greater age. Now, unfortunately, in my experience, a lot of pediatricians, although very effective at obviously taking care of your kids, and you should see your pediatrician, but oftentimes they're not as properly trained to diagnose an early scoliosis as a chiropractor who's more trained in that model of methodology there. And so when we look at this, we oftentimes see this shifting, and then we oftentimes see a loss of curve from the side. So essentially when you have scoliosis, the areas that are supposed to be curved are not curved, which was the side view, and the areas that are supposed to be straight are now crooked. And so one of the key features in correcting and optimizing scoliosis is to actually work on the side curvatures of the spine, making sure that you have normal alignment here, which can help to unwind the spine. Now, in order to do this, in our practice, we use corrective chiropractic care, which is a very specific chiropractic adjustment style that is based upon your posture and the results of digital x-ray analysis showing us exactly where the bone is misaligned and the type of degree of misalignment. Now that is also enhanced with physical therapy that's done in the office as well as corrective exercises that are done at home. Additionally, we do re-x-rays to carefully monitor the either progression or improvement of scoliosis as well.
I'd like to introduce you to Buttercup. Buttercup has a little unusual curve to her spine.
On the medical side of things, what they'll do is they'll oftentimes look at bracing. So if your curvature is 25 to 45 degrees, they'll actually look at putting a brace on your spine. And unfortunately, the bracing is very uncomfortable and compliance is oftentimes very low, especially because children and teenagers are wearing these braces. And the other thing is that braces are only designed to actually stop the progression versus actually help it actually improve. And so again, want to get this thing handled when you're a child is even better, because initially what people develop is one curve, so they'll have one shift, and that is an easier correction to occur. However, as this is not handled, it will cause a compensation, so now you actually have two curves. When you have two curves, it's much harder to correct and reduce, so finding that problem with one curve is a much better approach as well. So you want to make sure that you find, again, a chiropractor in your area that can help you with this. So In my practice, we've had the privilege of working with hundreds of cases with people with scoliosis. I want to encourage you that if you go to your pediatrician or a doctor and they say it's just a small curvature, don't make that small curvature a small thing. It's actually a big deal, because all problems typically start off small, and it's much easier to correct it and to balance it and to improve it and to strengthen it while it's in a small problem state. And so you want to make sure you look at chiropractic care even with those sort of circumstances. Now, of course, surgery cannot be ruled out in the future if that curve does get to a certain degree. And of course, working with your chiropractor and your family doctor will be able to assist you in knowing when the best course of action that may be. So I'm Dr. Eric Janowitz with Synergy Oviedo Chiropractic. If you found this information valuable, please make sure that you like, subscribe, share, ring the bell, whatever it takes to get this information out for you and for your children. Thank you.